Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Oh, hello. What are you doing here?
Great question. We're in Mariah's house today because
What?
I no longer have a couch or table.
But we're yet again on a green couch.
Yeah.
With
Art.
behind us.
Indie filmmaking.
Here we go. Cue theme song. Welcome back to another episode of Manic Pixie Dream Women. We are your hosts, Mariah.
And Layla.
And this is a podcast where we talk about all things post-grad, entering into the industry, and some films that have inspired us.
It took me so long for me to realize that you were doing a country accent.
I was not. I was trying to be like a surfer bro. Like,
Okay.
Welcome
I got that
back.
at first, and then it became. I was
and
like,
then
oh,
I was
she's
like,
doing.
Oh, okay, no.
Jack Twist.
No, that I should.
We should.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, and welcome to another episode.
Manic Pixie Dream Women.
You're so much better at it than I.
I'm from the South, baby.
That is very true.
You know the secret, though, truly, and I witnessed this from watching Heath Ledger's performance.
Mm.
The mouth barely fucking moves. It's a
true.
lot of talking like this.
That's a
It's
good
just the lips are barely moving.
Fuck, I tried to do it and I failed. I was like, that's a good point.
Just give your teeth closed.
That's a really good point, Layla.
Anyway, yeah, if you couldn't tell, we're talking about Brokeback Mountain, baby. Talking about Brokebacks on a mountain. Yeah. Guys. So I love, last week, lesbians. This week, gays.
Yeah, we're really,
Rounding out the spectrum.
well, last week,
What was last week?
Jennifer's Body.
Still lesbian.
Still lesbians.
Yeah.
Sort of. We're going through the full spectrum.
We really are. It is crazy though, like I think this is mostly a complaint, like a common complaint is that most like queer movies are like the struggles of being queer, not like just being queer, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so today we're talking about the 2005 film Brokeback Mountain, directed by Ang Lee, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, and rest in peace, Heath Ledger.
I don't even want to talk about it. I grieve.
So
I've grieved so much.
this is your
today.
first time watching it, though.
Yeah. This is my brother's favorite film of all time. And so
Ally.
And I've never watched it before, but it's been like, you know how some films are just like a looming presence in
the
your
periphery.
life? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this was one where like just my whole life, Brokeback Mountain. And then I started watching it last night. It got a little too sad for me. I was like, I'm going to pick this up tomorrow.
I did the same thing. I
Really?
watched it last night and then this morning.
Yeah, I was like, it was really late. And I was like, it's getting sad now. It was like the scene where they were like talking about it. Jake Gyllenhaal, Jack, was like, we should just live together. And Heath Ledger was like, no. And I was like, I can't do this right now.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, for those of you who haven't seen it, it follows two, I feel so reductive. I don't know another word for them besides cowboys. Two cowboys.
I think that is
herders,
actually
ranchers.
accurate.
Yeah.
Cowboys.
Who, they work this one job together on a summer on Brokeback Mountain and start up a, relationship, a deep, profound connection between them. And it follows their lives over like 20, 30 years as they each respectively like get married, have children, but like keep coming back to each other until, spoiler alert, Jake Gyllenhaal dies.
I can't.
Man, there's so much to unpack here. Just the depth of it, the weight of it. I mean, it's so sad.
It's just like, it's really just a tragedy the whole time.
Yeah.
There's not just even one moment of, oh, something happy will happen to any of these characters. It's just sad.
Always it's never going to work out for them.
Yeah.
And it's just so sad because it's also like, it's so representative of so many people's, like, especially if you like, it takes place in 1963 at the start, like, especially in like rural country
Wyoming
in,
Texas,
I mean, even still probably in rural countries, it's like this. And like the 60s, like, I mean, it's just so sad. It's so sad.
It's really sad. I was really sad.
Yeah.
I was really sobbing. And it's funny because
Wow.
I feel like obviously usually when I'm affected by art, I feel like this would be the case for most people. It's because there's some personal like tie or connection.
Mm-hmm.
But this was just pure like just sadness for their situation.
Yeah.
And like it's just, I mean, obviously this is so stupid and so like ally of me, but like it just sucks that this is like a real experience that so many people have lived through.
Yeah.
It made me really sad.
I mean, it's so fucking sad.
It's really sad. And it's also,
It's
I think,
us saying that for 45 minutes. It's so sad.
And I thought what was so interesting about it too was its exploration on just like how men feel like they have to completely repress their emotions. And these are like, especially Heath Ledger's character, like someone who like literally feels that they cannot access like any emotion whatsoever or any sort of feeling, and like how we've raised men to be these emotionless beings, and how that affects everyone in their family and in their path. It's really crazy.
Yeah, I would say particularly Heath Ledger's character Ennis is so nuanced and like deeply, I mean, he's, in my opinion, like, I guess maybe not the protagonist, but like he is
I think so. I mean, in the Oscars he was nominated for Best Actor and Jake Gyllenhaal was
Best Supporting.
Supporting.
Yeah, I wouldn't know if like he would qualify like as lead or co-lead, but like, I mean, his character is just so sad because at least here's the thing, like Jake Gyllenhaal's character, he is at least like he's trying to do it. Like he's kind of sleeping with other men, and like he mentioned he goes some trips to Mexico. Like he really, like, everyone in his life knows he's gay. Like his parents know he's gay. Like it's definitely like it's like a secret nobody talks about. It's like what is the unspoken secret?
I think that's interesting because I definitely think obviously his parents knew that he was gay.
Yeah.
But I am not convinced that Anne Hathaway's character, Lorene is her name.
It's Lorene?
It's Lorene.
I swear he said at one point he said Lorraine.
It's Lorene.
It's so weird.
Lorene. And it's not Lurleen, which I feel like is weird. Because I've heard Lurleen before.
You've heard the name Lurleen?
Not in like the present moment, but like in, I feel like, other...
Where have you read about the name Lurleen?
I don't know, another like southern... I don't know.
I don't think that's
I've definitely heard Lurleen. I've never heard Lorene.
I need you to look it up.
It's a real fucking name.
It's just crazy. Lurleen?
Lumpkin? Lurleen is a real name.
Who is Lurleen Lumpkin?
Lurleen
and
Wallace,
I hit her
former governor of Alabama. Excuse me.
Girl boss. She probably was like a terrible or like person. You know what I mean?
I would say I don't know if Lorene knew. And actually, did you see this? That when Anne Hathaway was filming the scene where she tells Ennis, that Jack has died and like how he died, they shot it one way where she did know that he was gay and that's how he was killed, and that's actually how he was killed. And they shot it another way where genuinely he was killed because of a tire incident. And she said that in the actual cut of the film they used like bits and pieces of both takes, so she doesn't actually know what the reality is.
So interesting.
And she never asked Ang Lee.
I would guess based off of just the movie and like her reaction when she was like, oh, he wants his ashes spread on Brokeback, and he's like, well, you know, I used to go fishing with him up in Brokeback, that she knew. Yeah. I think like it was like a confirmation of like what she suspected, because I do feel like, especially like he was kind of a little bit flagrant about it. Like he was kind of like not so subtle, where I feel like it would have been this thing where like everybody kind of knew it. Which also, that is one thing though where I was like, why does, like, he makes like, you know, long eye contact for 1 second with another man, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, they know he's gay? Like, it was like everybody knew he was gay instantly. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like I definitely felt that with
happened a couple times.
the guy with Stranger Things when they looked at each other, and I was like, how do they know that they're both gay?
I was like, oh.
Maybe he knew the guy from Stranger Things because of like rumor mill.
Fellas, is eye contact gay?
I think so.
Well, okay, did you also track, like, I mean, this is, I guess, just my theory, but like that David Harbour was like an undercover cop? Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I also had that thought.
The gay police.
Yeah, I don't know.
I really think he was.
I think he was too, and that's how he died, and that makes me really sad.
Ugh.
But I don't know.
I had seen this, and like, but years ago, like, I did not remember like lots of the plot other than that, like, I knew it was romantic or whatever. But I do remember, like, at one point during it, I was like, oh, one of them's gonna die. But I couldn't remember if that was just like me making a guess, because I was like, how can this really end?
Yeah.
Like, you know, here's where we are. It's so clear there's like such anti-gay rage.
That was the really sad thing, was just knowing that they can't have a happy ending.
Yeah.
Like, it's just actually impossible. Made me really sad.
Yeah. It made me think about, like, too, like, I feel like so many parents, so many kids, when, like, in certain situations when, like, they're raised, whatever, their parents divorce, and then, like, a couple years later, their dad will come out as gay, and they're like, but I'm so confused, blah, blah, blah. Like, how is that possible? I'm like, I feel like this is a great example of that, because in the movie, his daughter, I feel like, doesn't really know he's gay.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the mom ever shared.
Yeah.
But, like, that's how. Your parents are people.
Yeah, and also for, like, it to be such a hyper masculine guy who seems so, like, not in touch with his emotions at all, to, like, I don't know.
Oh my god. Can we talk about the kiss?
Which kiss?
The kiss. The one when he sees Jack again.
For the first time in 4 years.
For the first time in 4 years, and he, like, rams him against the side of the building, and they make out so passionately. I definitely got aroused.
Oh my god.
Did you see he almost broke Jake Gyllenhaal's nose?
Really?
When he did that kiss, because he went in so passionately.
Oh.
I know.
So, like, I was like gobsmacked. Like, my jaw was on the floor when they kissed, and then I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then Michelle Williams, when she saw, I was like, oh my god, this is crazy.
Yeah. Hey, Michelle Williams needed to chill, okay? Because it's like, okay, listen, every couple years, your man goes up on a mountain with a guy, like, okay, and it could be worse. Could be another girl.
I don't know if I stand behind that. I was really with her. I was like, can you imagine?
I must have been a shock.
Oh my god, like, and she conveyed it so perfectly. Like, the utter shock. And I really love the choice that she never told him
they divorced.
Until after they divorced. Yeah. Oh, that scene was so good. Everyone was so good. The one person that I wasn't the biggest fan of, and I think this is just like modern day now, Anne Hathaway has given me the ick.
I was gonna say, well, I just think she's too, and this is actually something else I feel like I noticed. They, like, and with Jake Gyllenhaal, they're too pretty. They're too gorgeous. Their face is too clean, or like maybe it's even just the costuming and makeup where I'm like, they look so made up and like coiffed. Like Jake Gyllenhaal, I was like,
really?
Cowboy. Like Heath Ledger, I'm buying it.
That's so funny.
Buying it wholeheartedly. Michelle Williams, I'm buying it. Anne Hathaway, not buying it so much. I think she did good. I think also, like, I guess her character is, like, you know, richer, more put together. You could tell in the 70s she got the blonde hair. I think when he got the mustache, I was like, I'm in it. When they got older, I was in it. But just like when they were young, I was like, that's just Jake Gyllenhaal.
See, I wonder
if it's because he's still alive, truly.
Oh. I've never found Jake Gyllenhaal attractive, so I didn't feel that, I guess. But Heath Ledger. See, I have a controversial take.
Okay.
I don't know if you'll be affected by this, but I feel like most of humanity will be affected by this, that I am not a big fan of 10 Things I Hate About You.
I'm not either.
Okay.
Well, it's just so overrated. Like, it's a fine rom-com.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
I think he's great.
Yeah.
but I've never actually really watched him in anything because I haven't seen The Dark Knight.
Whoa.
I know.
And that's like a crazy shift.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't recognize him.
Yeah, but like he's so cute.
He's beautiful. My God. And it's like everyone in the world, like when he died, I mean, it was like a crazy tragic death, like an overdose, and like he was
So
with
talented.
Michelle Williams. They
Yeah.
met on the set of Brokeback Mountain,
Yeah.
and they had just had their daughter.
Well, they weren't together when he died
Yeah, true.
because of his substance
Forgot about that.
issues.
Yeah. But they like, yeah, so it's like, because he was also like, I mean, I can't even imagine the career he would have had.
Yeah, I think that's why people were so affected by it.
I mean, he was like so big, but he was going to get
it was like less than 10 years that he had this
Oh my
like
God.
crazy career.
Well, and then he won the Oscar posthumously for Dark Knight Rises.
So
But no,
sad.
he, in my opinion, I mean, he just like, and I think this is partly, I guess, due to how much deeper of a character Ennis was to me. But like, I mean, he was on another level of like acting.
He's
Like Jake
so
Gyllenhaal was here,
good.
Heath Ledger was here.
He was so good.
And also being Australian, the fact that he did that accent that well, I was like, that's hard as shit.
he slayed it.
He slayed it.
He slayed it. The scene where they say goodbye to each other after their first summer together, and then he like goes into the corner and he's sobbing and he's like almost throwing up and he's like screaming, and it's like all of this emotion that like he doesn't know how to like contain.
I liked so much the way like their first interaction was so like aggressive.
Yeah.
Because it was so clearly like the manifestation of the inner to the outer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he was like, what the fuck's going on? You know, I'm into it. But like he had to really fight. And then the next day the sheep is mauled.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting, speaking of that scene, because Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger were friends before filming.
Yes. Like best friends.
Yeah. And so apparently they were very professional about their intimacy scenes.
Wait.
But
How do you relate to that, Mariah?
it's a great question that you ask. I don't know. No, I'm kidding. Do I have to explain myself?
I mean,
again?
hey,
yeah.
we get a new listener.
That's true. I just shot a short film with one of my best friends where we had to make out a lot. And it's weird.
Well, it was a big
weird.
tee up of you kind of being nervous about it and sort of like weirded out maybe.
Yeah.
And then you did it and you were like, that was fucking fine.
Yeah, but now it's gotten to a point
It's weird again.
where I'm watching all the edits.
Yeah.
And it is really hard to, like, because I directed it. It's really hard to watch yourself make out with one of your best friends, like, over and over again, and to not be like, whoa, that's me and James, and not just the characters.
The girl and boy.
So, but that was just making out. Like,
Yeah, they were like naked.
fucking. Like, they were like, I'm turning you around and shoving my dick in your ass.
Yeah.
That was the energy of the scene. Like, I'm not just being crazy. You know, like,
That's just Mariah normally.
no, like, it's like,
No, yeah.
whoa.
He's like, yeah, I was really thinking about it. I was like, whoa, what would that do to a friendship? But then it's like, am I thinking about it more because it's two guys versus like, I guess they still think about it. Yeah, like, were we asking the same questions for Amanda Seyfried and Megan Fox? I mean, it was less, I guess. Or like, you know, Natasha Lyonne and Clea Duvall.
I guess you're right. I think that it would be different just because that's true. Natasha Lyonne and Clea Duvall were friends before.
Yeah.
But I think it's just like societally, like, girls are more open and in touch with their emotions, and they're touchier just as friends, whereas guys, it's like,
bro,
like, what's going on, bro? Can I say something crazy and controversial?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's controversial. Why? And I think I have an answer to this. This isn't like just like politically not correct, but like, why is it so hot to watch two straight guys be gay in a film?
That's not where I thought that was going. I thought, like, is it different, like, if they were two gay guys?
What do you mean?
Like, if you're watching two gay guys.
Like, would it still be as hot?
Yeah.
No. And I think, well, because I would be like, oh, well, this is again where the delusions come in.
Well, I'm guessing it's because you're attracted to straight men.
Yeah, exactly. And like they would be attracted to me because they're straight.
Well, I will say there's definitely like there's been discourse about like, oh, well, the characters aren't gay necessarily, they're bisexual. And I did see, let me pull up my notes.
Wait, can I just answer my question?
Yes,
before
answer
you
your
pivot?
question.
I think the answer is just like, it is refreshing to see two straight actors be so comfortable with their sexuality that they're able to like be in Brokeback Mountain and to be like physically affectionate with a guy and like be so good at pretending to be like, there's something very refreshing about that I find attractive,
especially in 2005. You know what it is, it's the self-confidence in their own masculinity and selves. I think that's what it is.
Okay, exactly.
Yeah,
I completely agree. Anyway, now you can pivot.
Well, a couple of things off of that is that a lot of actors turned down these roles because they were too afraid. Mark Wahlberg was offered, I don't know if he was offered, I just talked about it, but like he turned it down because he was too creeped out. Which I was like, thank God he wasn't in this.
Gross. That's just
We don't want him here. Well, I do think it's interesting also after our conversation about, you know, characters who don't want to be labeled in Hollywood due to their sexuality. Like, you know, I think Matt Bomer has even said, who's like famously like a gay actor, that he's lost out on roles because of being out. Like, I think he was like, you know, in the running for Superman back in the day, maybe like Man of Steel era. And he was like, I'm pretty sure I didn't get it because I'm gay.
Yeah.
And like, you know, the discourse that would arise around that as well.
Yeah.
So I just think it's interesting where it's like you have these two straight guys playing gay. And I guess like they're not really, I mean, one of them is dead. But like Jake Gyllenhaal, like I don't think of Brokeback Mountain when I think of him. I feel like they're not like known for them in a way that you'd think is like would be more defining as like they're playing gay. But then you have a gay actor who plays straight, but he's only known for being gay.
Yeah, I mean, that's like always the discourse of like, I mean, if Brokeback Mountain were made today, I feel like it would be a larger conversation of like who is getting the opportunity to play these roles.
It would 1,000% one of them would be Glenn Powell.
Ugh.
I'm telling you that right now.
But people would be like, why is a straight guy like taking away this role from a gay person? And I think my thought about that is, I completely agree that obviously in all levels of diversity, it's really shitty when people have a hard time getting roles or getting opportunities because they're a minority, and then to see someone who has so much privilege take that role away from them. That's really fucked up. I do think it is interesting, and there is nuance in that these characters are not necessarily gay. And I'm pretty sure, I think Heath Ledger said that he thinks his character is straight.
Yeah.
And that he just
loves a man. Yeah,
he was like, this is about two souls finding each other. This isn't about their sexualities, which is really interesting. And even Jake Gyllenhaal said that he doesn't think his character is gay, which I would really beg to differ. But also, it's not my place to say.
Yeah.
And Ang Lee said that this was not a story about them being gay, but about two humans.
Yeah.
So
love is love is love is love.
Love is love is love is love. But also that's three straight guys who made a movie about a queer love story commenting on that.
I guess think about it at the time though. Who in 2005, I mean, the pool of who was gay and out must have been so small.
That's very true. That's
in terms of like big name actors, because like that wouldn't have been allowed, which sucks. But I do also think like, I don't think it should be like a certain like every time. Like it sucks that the way it's set up, but like I do think there's room for straight actors to play gay.
I agree, but I think
Paul Mescal is doing it today.
Yeah, but I think that it's an issue if they're taking away an opportunity from someone who actually fits that category.
But are they taking it away? I'm saying like they should be seeing everybody. But I don't think it's a problem if like say the straight guy, they think he's best for the role.
But that's an issue, because then the tricky situation of that is like, why is that person the best for the role? Why do you think that person is the best for the role? Like, is it because of the opportunities that they've had because of their privilege? Like, I feel like that is like a little bit of a blurry line where like, I remember in one of my writing classes, they had the guy who wrote Birdman come in to talk to us. I fucking hate that movie.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how his pal Lin-Manuel Miranda was getting a lot of heat because In the Heights didn't have it was getting a lot of heat because there weren't that many like Black Latino actors who were cast in it, and so it wasn't very diverse within like the Latin community, like who they cast. And he was saying, well, they were just casting the best dancers that they saw, but who are the dancers who have the opportunity to audition for these roles?
I get what you mean.
It's the people who have the most privilege, who've been able to like open the door in the industry to like get to that spot.
Yeah, I think I'm more referring to like in a little ideal world where they're just like seeing everybody regardless of like there's not that privilege there. Like if they're actually just seeing everybody and there is like a straight person and there's not all that behind it. You know what I mean?
I think it's just tricky because we're not there.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we'll ever be, unfortunately. True. But I do agree. I think that, like, as an actor, like, we should all be able... Like, I think that's the joy of acting, is to be able to step into the shoes of people that you are not.
Yeah.
Obviously. Like, that is literally acting and understanding and empathizing with their experiences.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do agree in that regard.
Also, so this is based off of a short story.
Yes.
And... the author, well, she said how different readers take the story is a reflection of their own personal values, attitudes, and hang-ups, which I definitely see. Because even I was like, as I was watching, I was like, well, maybe they're bisexual. And I was like, this makes sense that I'm thinking this versus like if somebody was very like, it's a man, they're gay. They're just going to, you know, think that it's a gay movie.
Yeah. It is also interesting that there was such a focus on labeling their sexualities. And labels in general.
This movie was so diminutively called the gay cowboy movie. Yeah. And I'm just like, after, you know, that's how like it's kind of like at the time it was known. I feel like even to this day, it's like it's the gay cowboy movie, which like factually not incorrect, but like it's just so like it's such a beautiful, tragic story. And by saying gay cowboy movie, you're so like just diminishing it. It's like, dude, it's beautiful. Like, just how about the heartfelt gay cowboy movie?
Speaking of gay cowboy movie, so Matt Damon and Joaquin Phoenix were almost cast. I don't know if you saw this.
Joaquin I feel like would have been great.
Yeah,
Matt
he
Damon
would have been a good
Okay, you know what would have been crazy? Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. Because you know how everyone likes to speculate that they're gay?
Yeah, that would have been crazy.
That would have been actually great.
But Matt Damon said that he was just in The Talented Mr. Ripley, which is gay. And then a cowboy movie called All the Pretty Horses. So he literally said, I cannot follow that with a gay cowboy movie. So
and you know what?
No.
He's got a point. I
mean, would have loved if he was
bully
like,
for him.
Boxed into like only gay cowboys.
Movies. Either gay or cowboy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait. The line. I keep thinking about this one line. I mean, there were some great lines in here. Great writing.
The writing's
but
great.
that scene in the beginning when they're getting together and Heath Ledger's like, you know, I'm not queer. And Jake Gyllenhaal's like, neither am I. And then they start making out.
Yeah.
I was like, artistry.
It's so good.
It's so fucking good.
It's so good. Also, obviously, the iconic line of like, I can't quit you.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's so good.
It's so good. It's so sad.
I feel like name another movie that's like has, you know, it's about gay, like this is like this kind of story. Not necessarily like even like this sad, but just like I feel like we haven't seen such a big budget, big, you know, big actor names, this sort of treatment for this, because it did well.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it had its things where it was like, you know, banned in China or like scenes were taken out and then blah, blah, blah.
Which is kind of silly. Like,
what were you taking out? Yeah. What's the story without them at Brokeback Mountain?
Yeah. I don't know. Did you see the story about Anne Hathaway in her audition?
Yes.
Okay. So she was filming Princess Diaries 2. And she was on her lunch break. And so she came in her full outfit, in her full ball gown. I love the Princess Diaries too.
Yeah.
I really love it. I love it more than the first movie. I'll say it.
It's got that amazing sleepover scene. I love
so
that scene
good.
so much.
It's so good. And what Chris
Pine.
I was like, what?
You literally just like, Chris Evans.
It's so cute. Anywho, I just wanted to say that because
Oh,
was
yeah.
a fun fact.
She's eating it up in her little tiara on the
Yeah.
audition. They were
Yeah.
like, okay, queen, we got to give it to you.
Anywho, the Oscars.
The Oscars. So this was obviously nominated for Best Picture at the 2006 Oscars. It did not win. Crash won, which I've not seen Crash, but it's on my list. But
I've never seen it.
I can almost guarantee you it's not as good as this. Because, so basically, it got, naturally people were like, it should have won. And the only reason it didn't is because of, like, homophobia or, like, whatever. And, in fact, in 2015, The Hollywood Reporter polled the Academy members and were, like, I think multiple, like, controversial past decisions from, like, the Academy. And one of them was the Best Picture race for 2006. Like, what should have won? And they re-voted. Well, they didn't, like, it's not official, obviously, but, like, in a re-vote, Brokeback Mountain won Best Picture.
Yeah. It's
so it was
interesting.
homophobia.
There's so many, yeah. And there's so many Oscar winners, like Best Picture winners, and I'm like, this has no cultural relevance today.
Green Book.
Yeah. That's a painful one.
Yeah. And that's recent.
Yeah, but there are a lot even from like our early childhood where like I don't know, it's just I also wonder like because Brokeback Mountain has become like what it is even to this day compared to Crash, if that also affects how people voted.
Yeah. Well, I just think also, I mean, it does speak to a movie's like, if a movie has longevity, it's like, well, why does it have longevity? And besides, obviously this has, importance for a lot of queer people. And so it became more important.
Yeah.
But like, if it's holding up so well and is still a part of the dialogue, then like, it's probably a better movie than Crash.
100%.
You know what I mean? And also,
100%.
I think Crash is really like, I think it's fun. I'm literally, I have never seen it. I'm just going off vibes.
I have no idea what it even is.
I think it's like an ensemble movie. Like, I think it just follows like lots of people after a car crash. I could be completely wrong.
I like that.
But, yeah.
Yeah, and then at the Oscars, it was also nominated for Best Screenplay, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Original Score. It won both of those, which I think it's funny, Best Original Score, because the score is so, it's literally just like
Simple.
One song. Like,
yeah.
Just a guitar. I'm like, okay, slay. I love that one. And then they were nominated for Best Actor, as we have said, Heath Ledger. Best Supporting Actor for Jake Gyllenhaal. Best Supporting Actress for Michelle Williams. I think she really killed it.
Yeah.
God bless. And then Best Cinematography, which I also agree with.
Did it win Best Director?
I did win Best Director.
It won Best Director.
As well. Sorry.
So that's what I mean. It's just like, how are you the Best Director and you're the Best Adapted Screenplay?
Yeah, it does feel, an interesting choice from the Academy.
An interesting choice.
Very interesting. Off of the him winning Best Director, I thought this was very interesting because Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger said that Ang Lee, as a director in pre-production, is very, very involved. But then they said that basically during production, he just doesn't really talk to them.
So interesting.
Which I was like, that's crazy. I kind of love that.
I can see that though. Like you're just like, you're so prepared that it's like, okay, go do your thing. Like, we talked about this. You know what the tea is.
Yeah. And like, there's obviously a lot of other things going on for the director. So like, if he has that much faith in them as actors and he's just like, okay, let's put the camera here. Let's make sure that I'm
thinking of that scene when he walks up behind him and puts his arm around him.
Oh, it's so good. I want to watch this movie again. I want to keep watching it over and over again.
It's long, but it's so good. Had a stacked supporting cast too, like Kate Mara.
It was a lot of my notes.
There's somebody else. Oh, David Harbour, Anna Faris.
That was like
kind
that's
of
a
interesting
random one. Linda
Cardellini.
Yeah, I was like, okay, slay.
Yeah.
Freaks and Geeks.
She went straight from Scooby-Doo.
Really?
I think Scooby-Doo was 2000. Oh, Scooby-Doo 2 maybe 2004.
Okay. Okay.
She took off that little turtleneck and said, "I'm here."
I love that. But yeah, and that's also like, I mean, again, intimacy choreographers were not a thing. So Ang Lee was just like,
wait, I think they said they had an intimacy coordinator.
Really?
I think Jake Gyllenhaal mentioned it.
Really? I only saw that Ang Lee was like, go for it. But I could be wrong.
Oh, I feel like I had read that they were like, the intimacy coordinator like did so much. I don't know.
It says, this is from either IMDb or Wikipedia. It says the first sex scene between Ennis and Jack took 13 takes to meet Lee's expectation. The director would keep his distance from them during filming, allowing the actors to be free and spontaneous. So that to me does not necessarily sound like it was choreographed, but I could be wrong.
I don't remember either. It might have been like right before that in the Wikipedia, because I also read Wikipedia.
Today, Wikipedia and IMDb. Shout out.
Wait, there was something I was going to say.
But that's cool if they had an intimacy choreographer. It looked very choreographed.
Yeah.
God bless.
Oh, I was going to say, like, just there was a moment, like, when Heath Ledger, when, like, Ennis was talking to Linda Cardellini's character, and she, like, convinced him to go up and dance. And I was like, it's really crazy, like, how much I'm believing that, like, Heath Ledger, this character's gay. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not doubting it for a mind. He is not attracted to straight women. Or, like, whatever he is, but you could tell, he just moves with such turmoil.
Yeah.
You can just tell how conflicted he is about, how much yeah.
He's so good.
He's so good.
He's so good.
Ugh.
Another fun fact, Heath Ledger was only 4 years older than Kate Mara when they filmed.
Interesting.
Yeah. Heath Ledger was only 26. He was one of the youngest people to ever be nominated for an Oscar.
How old was Jake Gyllenhaal? How old was Anne Hathaway? She must have been young.
Yeah, Anne Hathaway was probably really young because Ellen Channing was like 2000.
And then she was 18 in 2000. So she was 19?
Maybe. I don't know.
Shut it down.
I don't know.
Close it. No, that's crazy. To be acting with that ability at 26? Bro.
22.
Okay, so she would have been 23. Doesn't help. It does not help. Yeah, let's look at... What? Ah! So he was 20?
Jake Gyllenhaal was 24 years old at the time of shooting.
He looked so much older, too. Like, they look older. Don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, they look like 29.
That's us. That's us.
I don't need to... I know. Let's go up to Brokeback Mountain. Change our lives for the rest. Like, one summer. Change the course of our lives.
I love that his mom knew he was gay and was very sweet.
She was very much like, come back.
That
like,
really made me cry a lot.
You could feel like the way she was just like, this person loved my son.
Yeah.
And I loved my son.
Yeah.
And it's like, we could bond over that.
And just like her smile.
No, like that scene, honestly, what got me too was like that scene when he goes to his childhood room. And he doesn't really look through much. He just sits at the stool, opens the window with the tool that like, and it's clear that like, Jake Gyllenhaal's character, like, that's where he would sit and like look out the window, and he just like sat there and looked at the window, and I was just like, so beautiful.
They were soulmates. But it broke my heart when Jack's dad was like, he always talked about how you would come here and make a ranch, whatever, and then this spring
and then he started talking about another guy. Like, you could hear like little Ennis's heartbreak too, because he never, I mean, it was Jack or bust. It was just one person for Ennis. Well, there is that scene too where Jack Twist is like, you don't feel this, like, I need to do it or something. Yeah. Like, he's like, I have to, go out there and meet up.
He's got to get that gay sex.
He's got to get it. Guys, it's, happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
Look how far we've come.
Yeah, I think this was good for Mariah and her little New York bubble of like, like
ranches.
No, just like it's just crazy. Like I obviously grew up in an environment where like homophobia just like did not exist in my like little
crazy
bubble. Which obviously is a very like privileged place to be. I'm not gay, so it doesn't, whatever.
Yeah.
But like still. It is just like, I feel like it's so stupid, but watching this movie, I was like, oh my God. Like, it is actually so crazy how recently, and still to this day, obviously, but like with where we live, like how recently
I mean, even like, I grew up in the South. I grew up in North Carolina, but like a city.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I mean, it's still, you know, when you're little, it's still there. But it's just, it's so sad that it's like you can have this sort of thing of like, look how sad this person is, and like, and good, and we'll keep doing it.
Yeah.
And I don't care, you know?
Yeah, and even with Michelle Williams' character, like, I felt so bad for her, but I never put any blame on Heath Ledger's character because I was like, it's not his fault.
Yeah.
It's a result of his environment and the society he grew up in, and it's just like really a deep shame for everyone.
Yeah.
Oh, but so yeah, happy Pride.
This is the thing when also people are like, where, you know, woke, like, where were gay people before, you know, they started teaching that in schools and pushing the agenda. It's like, girl, they were just really, really depressed.
Yeah.
They were like the really sad guys in the bars who like kept having multiple wives and like, you know, jumped around from relationship to relationship trying to find something to fill the void because they couldn't be with one that they loved.
Yeah. Anywho.
Ryan, what was your manic?
My manic this week, I feel like I've definitely been like really stressed about like editing and post-production for my short.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a good, like, actually literally before we recorded this episode, I had a good talk with my co-director about just like the rest of post-production, and like she feels very confident that we'll get to the place we need to be at, and I'm like, okay, I trust you. So that makes me feel better.
Is there a timeline you guys have in mind of like when you're thinking it's going to be done?
Well, we want it to be picture locked in like the next 2 weeks. It's taken longer than we'd have liked it to take.
Mm-hmm.
And then we need it to get composed and colored.
Yeah.
And the sound needs to be mixed. I'm going to say a hopeful end of July.
Okay. More recent than
Well,
I was expecting.
we were hoping it would be the end of June.
Yeah.
That was not the case.
Dang.
So I'm just going to put it out in the universe. So, but yeah, that was probably my manic. How about you?
Well, I moved.
Mm.
That sucked.
Yeah.
But also like because I mean, it's just like I forgot that I was a writer entirely. I was like, not one thought about a project. Like, oh, I'm a person with goals and dreams and ambitions. Interesting. Because I've just been so out of it that I'm like, it's hard to get back in it.
Yeah.
To lock back in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, when you're moving, you literally have to use all your energy.
It is the worst.
moving.
It's the thing, too, is like, it's something that, like, even if you're, I mean, obviously it's a lot easier when you're a billionaire and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's still just a bitch. Like, it's
Yeah.
always going to be a bitch. I can't imagine a world in which, like, even for Jeff Bezos, like, sure, he can have someone pack it up for him and, like, but then there's the case of, like, wait, is my stuff unpacked?
Yeah.
You know, it's just, it sucks. That's why I'm like, when I buy a house, man, it's going to be for a while. I'll be there for a while.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's
Yeah.
awful. It's really awful. But you got through the worst of it.
Yeah. I think
So,
especially in New
God
York,
bless.
it's so bad.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
It's
Especially
the
in the
worst
summer.
here.
It was so hot.
So hot.
Like, sucks.
And also, like, I mean, you're dealing with, like, the craziest workmanship. Like, our bathroom door didn't close.
Ooh.
Like, it's like, you know, just like, how can these people, like, girl.
Yeah, you always have to figure out like the kinks when you.
Oh, there are a
get
lot
to
of
new
kinks.
place. This place was like that too.
Yeah.
Our doors wouldn't close.
What'd they do to fix it?
They had to shave off the doors, but the super literally could not come for like a month before he fixed them. So our doors just like didn't close.
So, like, I love that. I'm just like, okay.
Like, not that they couldn't lock.
They couldn't close.
They couldn't close.
That's one of our bathroom doors.
I'm like, how did they not? Who?
But literally, the person, like, on our, we're just yapping. The
Yeah.
person on our door, literally, it's, like, lower than the thing.
Oh.
Like, it's not straight.
That's so funny.
So just an idiot built it.
Damn.
Yeah.
Anywho. Pixie. I feel like this week. Oh my god. You know what my pixie was actually? I saw Inside Out 2. And I saw it in the giant IMAX theater at Lincoln Square.
Okay.
And it was so fun. Like, it was so fun. And
we should do a match cut to Boycott Disney from you in an early episode.
Yeah. No, yeah. Boycott Disney. I have AMC A-list, so I don't know if that changes anything. I'm just justifying my seeing Inside Out 2.
I mean, Disney,
so
I have Hulu. You know what I mean? Disney owns every fucking
Disney owns
company.
everything.
ABC, Fox.
Yeah, and it's a lot for me to not go to Disney World, you guys. So, like, I feel like I'm doing something.
You're being really brave.
I'm being really brave. I think, yeah, whatever. But Inside Out 2 was really fun. It was really good. And I cried. And I really recommend it. That's my story.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, those movies are always so fucking cute.
So good.
Especially when it's about anything about, like, growing up or, like, childhood. I'm already in tears.
Any Pixar movie, I know this is going to be amazing. I'm so excited. And it's so fun to see it in a giant IMAX theater.
I don't think I've ever seen a movie in IMAX.
Oh my god, you have to go to the IMAX theater at Lincoln Square. It's actually, like, ginormous.
Should we see A Quiet Place there?
If it's playing
I
there,
doubt
I'm
it's an
down.
IMAX. It'd be
We
crazy.
can see. Anywho. What was your pixie?
I don't know if I had one. I'm alive.
Okay.
And healthy.
Slay-ish. That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's good to be grateful.
It's good to be
for our health.
You know what? Like, hey, I have a room.
Yeah.
I have a door.
You have an extra room.
I have
in
an
your
extra
apartment?
room.
That's exciting.
I have a living room. Big deal.
Yeah, you moved.
I moved.
You did it. God bless.
Woo! Although I have so much stuff.
And you've gotten rid of a lot of stuff,
Oh my
too.
god, I have so many books.
I feel like that's the thing that every time I move, I'm always like, why do I have so much random shit?
Well,
How
then
did I acquire this?
And then I think about it, and I'm like, I get rid of some, I like declutter, and then I'm like, I'm good. And then I'm like, oh, just drawers.
It always happens.
Yeah.
It always happens. But God bless.
Yeah.
Anywho, next week is our season 2 finale.
Whoa.
All right, well, we'll see you next week on
Manic Pixie Dream Women.